I snapped back to consciousness as my wife's lover dumped a bucket of cold water over me. The shock was instantaneous. My body jerked, a violent shiver running from my shoulders to my fingertips. The chill cut through every layer of clothing, every barrier I thought I had built around my composure. I had always imagined betrayal differently. Whispered words behind closed doors, the slow poison of deceit. But this was immediate, physical, and humiliating. It wasn't just the water. It was the timing, the audacity, the sheer spectacle of it. I had walked into our backyard expecting a quiet Saturday evening, a shared glass of wine, a few moments of laughter. I had not expected to be drenched in front of our neighbors, staring into the triumphant grin of the man she had been hiding from me. I could hear her laughter before I could even process what had happened. It was cruel and sharp, slicing through the air like glass. She didn't even glance at me with an ounce of regret, just the pure, unadulterated joy of someone who believed they had won. And in that moment, I understood something fundamental about the person I had married. I had loved her with every part of me, poured my life into our shared dreams, and trusted her in ways I had never trusted anyone else. For years, I believed she felt the same. And yet, here she was orchestrating a scene so blatant, so public, that I could not deny the truth even if I wanted to. I stood there, dripping wet, trying to gather my thoughts. My heart pounded not just from shock, but from the surge of anger, betrayal, and disbelief. It was a perfect storm of emotion, each wave colliding with the next. I remembered every small sign I had ignored, the late-night messages she swore were work calls, the secretive smiles at her phone, the subtle shifts in her tone when I tried to connect. Each one now felt like a cruel foreshadowing, a warning I had chosen not to heed. He, her lover, looked at me as if I were some kind of intruder, a clown in his own home. I could see the mixture of triumph and disdain in his eyes, a predator satisfied with the success of his hunt, and her, standing beside him, radiant in her victory, completely oblivious to the devastation she had sown. She wasn't even pretending remorse. The performance was complete. The audience was herself and the smug man beside her, and I was the unwilling star. For a moment, I considered reacting, throwing something, yelling, making a scene of my own. But the more I looked at them, the more I realized that any reaction I could muster would only play into their narrative. They wanted me humiliated. They wanted my anger, my pain, my loss of composure. And I refused to give them that satisfaction. Instead, I took a deep breath. Cold water dripped from my hair and clothes, soaking the ground around my feet, but I planted myself firmly. I let the initial shock subside and let clarity rise in its place. I didn't need to scream, to shout, to prove anything in that moment. I needed one thing: control over myself, control over the story that was unfolding, control over how they would remember me. I straightened my posture and slowly, deliberately, I wiped my face with my sleeve. My eyes never left hers, and in that gaze, I think she finally understood that her attempt to humiliate me had failed. I didn't move toward her, didn't demand explanations. I didn't call out the lies, the secrets, the betrayals. I simply turned, walked to the door, and left the scene of their celebration. As I closed the door behind me, the sounds of laughter and triumph faded, replaced by the stillness of the street outside. The cold air hit my skin like a bomb after fire, shocking but clarifying. I felt every drop of water, every inch of damp fabric, every sting of betrayal. But instead of breaking me, it awakened something I hadn't fully known, the clarity of truth. I realized in that moment that she had never truly loved me, not in the way I had loved her. She had loved the idea of me, perhaps, or the comfort of having someone devoted, but not the reality. And the man standing beside her was not just a lover. He was a symbol of everything I had ignored, everything I had been too blind to see. Walking down the street, water pooling at my feet, I let the memories roll through my mind, not to relive the pain, but to catalog the truth. Every time she had smiled at me while texting him, every excuse she had given for working late, every gentle lie. Now, all pieces of a larger picture. It was painful, yes, but it was also freeing.